Did we run it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It gets correctly spelled every time.
Okay. So we're working on spell check program. We modified the binary search aspect of that to return true every time. So as a result, our whenever we run this, no matter what word we type in, even if it's keyword smash, it says it's spelled correctly.
So do we need an if statement in here?
We're going to need quite a lot of if statements, actually. What we need to do is you could say if the first item matches your word, return true. Otherwise, if the second one returns true, or put it in a loop, right? That would be if we were to do this sequentially, going line by line, but we don't want to do that. Yes?
This is like random, but like I got an email yesterday that said like I downloaded something that had inappropriate language in it, and it was from this spell check. So it had like entire English language in it.
Right.
And it gave me like an email saying this was my first offense.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anybody else get that email? So because you downloaded it, the school servers filter everything that you downloaded, and they found it had some.
This
Ooh, I'm interested now. So who's it from? Safety team at Gaggle.net. The Gaggle team. Why is it still going through Gaggle?
I am.
Huh, interesting. Forward that to me. Okay.
I thought about forwarding it to you yesterday, but I was like,
Yeah, actually, yeah. Forward that to me, and then I'll send that on. Or I don't know. You just send it to your mom. See what she thinks about it.
Right.
That's
forward it to both of you.
Okay. Sounds good. You'd be like, hey, I got this for downloading a dictionary file for my computer science class. It's strange that no one else did, but yeah. Honestly, I'd email it to her anyway. So. All right, if you remember what we've got going on here, we'll just scroll down a little bit. There's a file that has every single word, well, it has 104,000 words in it, probably the most, according to that Oxford Dictionary, it was like the real number of words in the English language is around 150, so maybe that's just the British English, I don't know. So we don't have any of the British English words in there, or at least there's spellings. So,
yeah, I don't know what it was, but I think some of those things in there weren't like, I don't know even why they were in there, because they were clearly not like real words, I don't think.
Really? Like abed, A-B-E-D? That's not a word? Abed? A-B-E-D? You don't think that's a word?
Like ab and abba?
Oh, in bed. Bed. That's what it means. It's English, right?
Ab and abba, those don't.
Ab? That's not a word? Come on, sure it is. It's a
Oh,
prefix.
yeah, ab.
Or an ab is a human blood type. That's like AB. But it's also an abbreviation for an able seaman, as in an able-bodied seaman. Or Alberta. Also at BAT, Bachelor of Arts.
What about abba?
Antibody. I don't know.
Muscle.
Just Google it. If it's in that file, it's a real word, Joseph. I don't know. So, oh, here's that Stack Overflow.
Actually, no. I know some of them aren't real, because the only letter in the English language that has two A's in it is aardvark, and they have aardvark, well, not aardvarks, yeah, it's plural, but like aardwolf and aardwolves.
Oh, you've never heard of an aardwolf?
Those are not real. Don't even.
An aardwolf. Okay, we are going to chase that aardwolf down the aardwolf trail. Aardwolf. If this is a real animal,
How? How?
my friend,
It's not in the dictionary.
It's in the spell check dictionary. Maybe they didn't discover it until, like a few years ago. I don't know, but it's right there. It's in Wikipedia, and it's in Google Images. Aardwolf.
ABA.
This
Yeah, okay, I'm done.
conversation.
Let's stop. Yeah. It doesn't even matter.
But hey, I learned something today. I learned about an aardwolf. anyway, our program goes through that entire file and pulls the string, and what it do? Stores it in a temporary variable called str, then adds that variable or that string to the array list of strings, which is called word list. What we now need to do is we need to go through that word list and find out if the current word that was just typed in is inside that list. Now, like I said, we could go through it sequentially, but that's going to take a long time. Even it might take a few seconds, but you know, we want to imagine that maybe we're beginning to write a program that hundreds or thousands or millions of people could be submitting requests, you know, regularly. We need to process these very quickly. So here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to modify this this binary search method. So I'm going to get rid of that return true, and I'm going to go back over here to the binary search algorithms that we had. Now, this one in 18.2 notes was for an integer array. I don't really like that so much. If I look over in 18.3, we had a version that dealt with an array of student objects, and that's actually pretty good. I kind of like this one because this is starting to use the compare to, which is where we want to go with that. So we're going to copy that entire method body and paste it over here.
Wait, where was it again?
That was in file 18.3. It was about at the very bottom. It was binary search. Now, I'm not actually going to copy the signature up there at the top, just the method body. All right? And then we're going to go through and make modifications so that it fits our given situation. Let's see. So left, that seems fine. I'm not going to modify. I'm not going to do anything with left. Now this says right equals a dot length minus 1. Now, does anybody remember what a was in that situation? Over here.
Student.
It was an array of students. Yes. Okay. So that's the array. We don't have an array. We have an array list, and our array list is called word list. So an array list does not have a length property. You all remember how to get the length of an array list? Dot size. Yep, the size method. So there we go. Then this says while left is less than right. No need to mess with that. Int midpoint equals left plus right over 2. So the average, that seems fine. Now this is gonna need a little bit of help. We have right now in this code the array A, and we want to access whatever is at the midpoint index. Okay, well, for our purposes with our array list, we need to write word list. Does anyone remember off the top of their head how we access an individual item inside an array list? Dot get, that is correct. So we're going to say dot get midpoint. And if you can understand that line of code, you are right where you need to be, because you can envision this whole entire part, word list dot get midpoint, that's almost all like in parentheses. You can kind of imagine that. That's going to get some string, and we're going to compare that string with the key. And if they're equal, then this expression right here will return 0, and it'll put 0 inside result. If what we have in the list is before the key, then it will return a negative number and put it inside result. If what we're looking at in the list is after the key, then it will return a positive number. And that's why we have this sort of like, if the result is 0, if it's negative, and otherwise it's positive, that's going to move the left and right accordingly. So you'll be like this, and then we'll look at that half of the list, or we'll look at this, and we'll look at that half of the list. Going down the line here, now this says return midpoint, and that's because we grabbed this from the code that was actually returning the index. What's the return type of this method? Boolean. True or false? Well, that's a true statement, but Boolean is a true or false value. And so if we look up at the comments, it says if the key is found, it returns true, otherwise it returns false. So 0 means it's found. So instead of returning midpoint, we need to return true. You are correct. And then we'll go down here at the very bottom, it says return -1. That's for situation when we could not find it and the left and the right ended up switching. So we're going to say return false. And that's awesome. With just a couple of modifications, we have created a binary search that looks for a string in an array list and returns a true or false value. Let's go ahead and run the program and see if it works. So I'll try and is spelled correctly. Enter another one. Yep. A-A-R-D-W-O-L-F. Aardwolf. Aardwolf is spelled correctly. Of course it is. It's an actual word representing an actual animal. Now A-S-D-F-J-K-L semicolon is spelled incorrectly. Are you getting similar results? Anybody having a problem? What's your problem?
It says there's a problem with the, like there's a null pointer expectation.
Do you have parentheses and dots like we do?
Yes.
Parentheses up here. I might have to look at it a little bit more closely. Okay. I'll look at it here in a minute while everybody else gets ready to download this next set of files. Oh, we need to do something. Let's see. What about Trey? T-R-E-Y. I wonder if that's in there. Yes, intro word. T-R-E-Y. Spelled correctly. All right, let's keep going. Enter another word. Yes. Mason, do you think your name is in there? Probably because it's a description of a type of a job. A mason. Yeah, somebody who deals with bricks and stones. Okay. What about a Lucas? Any chance that your name is in there? Haha! Incorrectly. Okay, that means it's not in there. Now the only real way to really test this, okay, enter another word, no, is for us to go in there and manually add Lucas and see if it finds it now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's do it. So there's only one catch. Okay. Can I put this right? Can I put Lucas right at the beginning?
No.
No. Where do I need to put it?
Where the L's? Alphabetically.
Alphabetically. I'm going to be scrolling for a while. All right. Maybe I'll do a find. So Command F will do a find, and I'm going to type in L-U-C-A-S. Luke. Maybe I'll put L-U-C for Luke. And I want to go down here, the options, and say whole word. Otherwise, it's going to find, if I don't have whole word, then it's going to find Blucher, cluck, clucked. I want the whole word, please.
Well, I found it. Where'd you go?
How about L-U-C-K for luck?
Try lubritorium.
Lucratorium.
Lubritorium.
Well, why would I care about a lubritorium?
Because right after that's where it should go.
Okay, well, I don't believe you. I've got...
Or Lucancy.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so here. L-U-C...
Lubritorium.
Lubritorium. Okay. Do we want to know what a lubritorium is?
No.
You can Google that.
I'll pass.
Yes, you're right, yeah.
Alright, so yes, you're right. It should go after the B's, but then the next one is lucency. So, L-U-C-A-S. I'm not going to do a capital because capital letters, come before the lowercase letters, and that would kind of mess everything up. So I'll go ahead and save that. Ooh, lucidness, luciferous. Man, I just got to go read through the dictionary. There's lucubrate, lucubrated. Anyway, all right, have fun. Back to work. Enter the word. Lucas. Hey, spelled correctly. Found it in there. Enter another word. No, I'm quite finished. Thank you.
Is there a way to add it into the file?
Yes.
Alphabetically?
If you write the code to do it. Think about how would you do that? How would it know where it is?
Use the same type of method, wouldn't you? And you put it in between.
Okay, but we would have to find where exactly it belongs, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can we use like compare to method? Like
We would want to do something. Yeah, we would probably want something kind of like this, like a binary search, but in the middle. Well, the thing is that we're going to eventually find, we're going to go here, then 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 we're going to go here. Eventually, we're going to narrow it down to one point, right? And our word is either going to be that word or it's not. And if it's not, that's when we need to add it. And so the question is, if it's not, then we need to insert the word either right before that word or right after that word. Does that make sense? So some sort of modification here where you determine if this is, if the left and right are about to switch, if this is the absolute last choice, or maybe right after they switch, then go back and remember where they were or something like that, and then you can find it. So yeah, you would have to write that code yourself. And in fact, Trey, that's what your phone does whenever you type in a word that it doesn't recognize, but you're like, that's a word, or that's a person's name, or that's an event or something like that I want to add to the dictionary, and you click add.
It sometimes like automatically adds it to it whenever you use it enough. Like it quits trying to autocorrect it.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen that. And that's the kind of thing that, these smarter, apps and stuff like that, as people say, I want this feature, then okay, how do you do that? Well, anytime that you don't that you kick out and say I didn't find it, maybe it just puts that into another array list and it keeps track. Oh, how many times has that word been searched for? And if it exceeds a certain threshold, then it just adds it in automatically. So lots of really cool stuff. Lucas still not working? Okay.
Or probably whenever you go back and correct it again, it probably is like, oh, it probably wants that.
It flags it. So yeah, it would have to remember those as well. Okay. So I'm satisfied. Does anybody have any last questions on spell check before we start the next one?
Well, that's it.
That's it? Spell check. Everybody, you get 100 on spell check. You get 100 on spell check. You get 100 on spell check. Everybody gets 100 on spell check. That's here right now.
Yeah, except Crystal.
Except for Crystal and Matthew. Sorry. Lucas doesn't get 100 on spell check yet until we figure out what's going on with the null pointer exception.
Wait, is this actually going to be a grade or am I making a joke?
Both.
It's Oprah.
Yeah, it is every day. I'm just giving it away. All right, no, I'm not giving anything. You guys earned it.
I'm seriously though. I'm serious though. I haven't gotten like 100 in forever.
All right.
Much less any grade at all.
I know. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Yes. You get 100. And you're getting 100. Okay, so here we go. Now here's the next thing. I say, why stop there? Right? Let's see how much we can get done on this next program. So let's look at it together real quick, and I'll let you all start downloading the files. So this one is very similar. It's called search states. All right, let's just skip on down here to the sample run. So we have a file that has every state along with its capital, nickname, and population as of like 2010 or something like that. And it's all listed. What we want to do is we want to read that into a file, and then make an array list that points to each one of these objects. Now, the difference is, what we just had with word list, you know, that was like, it was an array list, but it just had, you know, A, and then A, B. It just had a single string inside it, like A, B, B, A, and R, wolf, and all that other stuff. Okay? Just one piece of information. What we want now is an array list. Trey, you put that over here. The camera. Just kinda angle it over here. We want an array list where inside each one of these array list elements is going to be a state object with its name, with its capital, with its nickname, and with its population. Name, capital, nickname, and population. Joseph, do you see how this is different? How this array list is going to be different? It's going to be an array list of custom objects that have multiple instance variables. Meanwhile, over here, it was an array of just strings.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's going to present, you know, one or two small challenges for us. We can take care of it. Now, I think you may have answered this yesterday. If this is the case, what do we want to sort on? All right? If we're looking for a specific state, which one of those fields or properties would we want to have this sorted on for the states? Name, capital, nickname, population.
Like probably alphabetical by name.
Yeah, alphabetical by name, absolutely. So that's the way that they're presented up there in that first. This is just it's called like a data dump, it's like a memory dump. It's just like whoosh, there it is. There's all the information right there. Now, what the user is going to do is type in a specific state, and we're going to print out that information right there. It's very similar to any sort of terminal or a client program. If there's a huge database, and you're the person at the front desk, you know, someone says, "Oh, can I made a reservation." You're like, "Okay, well, let me pull up your information." You're not going to look through every single entire record, you know, that's ever been there, or every current reservation, or whatever it is. You're just going to type in that person's name, and we want that, the data for them. Yes.
Can we only search for a state, or can we enter like the capital and it gives us everything too?
The way that the client program is structured right now is it's only going to look for the state. But if you want to make an option, say, would you like to look for the state or the capital? Then I mean that's something, you know, it's a little bit of code that you could make it a little more interesting. Okay. So what you need to do is, so just make sure we're very clear. You type in the state, it prints out those statistics, and then just like before, it'll ask, do you want to do it again? Type in another name, give more statistics. If you eventually type in something like Cleveland, then we want a message that'll say something like state not found. Okay? There's a lot of client code that's already kind of been prepped for you. You've got the state class, the states test class, and the United States class. So download those or import those into a project. Also, this states text file, go ahead and download that and import that into an Eclipse project while I'm working with Lucas here.